Yo, yo, yo. How you living? How you feeling? How you doing? Brandon Harris back in the house. How you living, Brandon?
Here I am. How are you? I'm doing great.
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling.
The
So
order there was messed up. I apologize.
you're living the club days, you know what I'm saying? But today we're gonna have part two of our Dynasty Sleepers, Dynasty Dart Throws, whatever you want to call them, for the 2020 fantasy football season and moving forward. So whatever the hell that was, you
It
got to
was like part 2 and it
part
crosses the screen.
two, part two.
That's part 4. We're not there yet.
I tweak. All right. Do you have any comments, questions, concerns, statements, buffoonery to go ahead and say?
Well, I couldn't join yours and Alex's little second choice fantasy football, but this is first choice fantasy football, and you guys made it. You made it here, and this one will be better than the last because my sleepers are great. They're
Oh,
ready to wake up this 2020 season.
all right. With that said, let's just pull out some scissors. You know what I'm saying, Brandon? Let's pull out some scissors. Cut to the intro, please. Thank you.
Let's get there.
I said, baby, I am not the one to play with. Ain't the type to give up, I'm driven and motivated. I just want some recognition and some compensation. But this ain't about the money and it ain't about the fame. I got lightning in a bottle, I think I just found my perfect sound. Can you see the fire in my eyes? Bitch, it's burning out. Lightning in a bottle, I think I just found my perfect sound. Can you see the fire in my eyes? Bitch, it's burning out.
All right. We got three sleepers each. Three sleepers for the Dynasty Sleepers, Dynasty Dart Throws, Dynasty.
Autumn.
So we got B Hair. B Hair can go first. We got the visitors going first. You know, guys are always going first.
All right, visitor in the house of Ed.
After that.
I got Breshad Perriman. He's probably my favorite out of the 3 I have picked out. He represents a player that is going to be startable. So this isn't a player that I think is going to break out and turn into this year's Devontae Parker. I think he's going to be a player that's going to consistently contribute and be involved in the game plan. And the reason why I feel this way is because it is Robbie Anderson 2.0.
Oh, big bold.
Big bold. All right. So first off, Rashad Perriman. His catchable percentage was 62.3%, which was 106% in the NFL. And that right there is just the epitome of Jameis Winston. And then you got Robbie Anderson on the other side. He played with Sam Darnold. He played with whoever the hell else the Jets had last year. And he even still had a catchable percentage of 68.8, which is 94th in the NFL. So there's a slim difference. It might not be astronomical, but it's there. It's noticeable. And then once you surpass that stat, I like to look at the average target distance. And this isn't really to show the difference. This is to show the similarity between the two players. Rashad Perriman had 16.4 average target distance, which is 3rd in the NFL. Again, this is just Bruce Arians' system. Go run out there, Rashad, catch that pass, and pull in some fantasy football fandom. And then you got Robbie Anderson. His average
Oh my goodness. Okay.
His target distance average target distance is 15.2, which is even smaller than what Breshad brought to the table.
What was Breshad's?
His was 16.4. So Breshad's was 3rd in the NFL, and Anderson's was 8th. So top 10 for the both of them. And then I want to talk about, well, let's look at the yards per catch. Okay. So Breshad Perriman, 2019, 17.9. 2018 with the Browns, he was 21.25. I only got to go back 2 years because the two players, well, Robbie Anderson had 14.9 in 2019, and 2018 he had 15.1. So their numbers, yards per catch, average target per distance, they're deep threats. That's basically what I'm trying to get at, and that's basically their game. And I see the fact that they let Robbie walk, and then they bring in Breshad Perriman. So I see two similar players. You lose one, you gain one, and you play it just as if they were the same guy out there. And I think that produces a decent player that produces 16 points in week 12, 13, 20, 10, 10, and that's Robbie Anderson's end of season numbers. And you're also going to get the games like week 17, Robbie Anderson had 3 points. But that's just a speedster, and the Jets enjoy using their speedsters, and I think they found a duplicate Robbie Anderson right in the flesh. Negatives, I real quick before you get into your spiel, the negatives is Adam Gase and another Sam Darnold. So Sam Darnold only had 55 deep pass attempts, which is not good being that he only missed 3 games. So he played 13 games and only threw 55 deep passes. Now that could be Sam Darnold being booty hole, or it could be Adam Gase being booty hole, or it could be both. And also Sam Darnold's deep pass completion percent was 27.3, which was 32nd in the NFL. Which
that could be a testament to Robbie Anderson's poor hands, because he did have his 71st. He was 71st in the NFL in true catch rate, which just shows like catchable targets. Like that's his conversion rate on like accurate passes, and obviously it wasn't great. But
I appreciate you coming in, backing up Rashad.
I had to. I was gonna say the things you were gonna say, but then I had to put some context into it, you know.
Yeah, and then you've got, like I said, Sam Darnold only had 55 deep pass attempts. You got Jameis Winston, who had 113, which is first. So at the same time, Breshad Perriman's going from the first deep pass attempts to the last. So, and this is sleepers. So you're going to get, if you're expecting a superstar in the making, who knows? Maybe Breshad Perriman is that. I have no place in saying so. But I'm taking the numbers I'm seeing and the players that the Jets have used in the past, and I'm presenting you with the new Robbie Anderson, Breshad Perriman.
Now, Robbie Anderson did seem like a cancer, to say the least, for some fantasy owners last season, even the season before. It's like, when's he going to break out? When's he going to break out? It never happened. So I'm not sure if it's going to happen with Breshad Perriman. But to throw in there, obviously, Sam Darnold's lack of aggressiveness, I guess you could say, compared to Jameis Winston. And then you have Adam Gase compared to Bruce Arians. They're 2 different things. But Breshad Perriman did sign a 1-year contract with them. So, it doesn't show their commitment to him and his commitment to that team. So, say they do keep Adam Gase around next year. Say he goes back to Tampa or somewhere like that. So, he leaves to go to a better passing offense. In Dynasty, he showed what he could do last year with an aggressive quarterback. Say he goes to another aggressive quarterback. It's not far-fetched to say he's a good Dynasty bench player. I'm not a believer in him as much as, say, you are or other people are, but it's not. It's like an bench stash. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've seen people like Devontae Adams, okay? Even Devontae Parker. Like the first couple seasons in the NFL, they were practically titled bust, okay?
Yeah.
Until they got they kept the opportunity there. The efficiency wasn't always there. It was always poor until they eventually got a hold of how they were supposed to do things, how they're supposed to perform and whatnot. Rashad Perriman found that last year.
Yeah.
Now, he did get put in a shitty situation with the Jets. If he signed up where he can stay with Tampa, I mean, his ceiling could have been high, but I think you have to kind of be reasonable with Rashad Perriman's ceiling for this year, at least. I mean, if he stays with the Jets in the future and they keep Adam Gase and Sam Darnold, I feel like his ceiling's very limited, but it is worth definitely worth a shot.
Yeah.
I apologize for anybody who noticed my puppy just joined in the Zoom chat. He wanted to get some words out. What do you guys say? Nothing. Okay. That's it. Bandit. All right.
He's letting you do your thing.
Exactly. He's a big fan. You guys should be big fans too. And let's get a Go Bandit in the chat for Bandit.
Bandit.
This is very big to him because he's coming out to the public. He's very antisocial and very quiet and very anxious. You can see him shaking. I don't know if you can see him shaking, but I see him shaking. And yeah, that's Bandit for you. But do you have anything else to say about Breshad Perriman?
I don't. I think I proved my case.
Proved his case. All right. Well, let's dive into my number one sleeper. This is a player who I'm kind of on still, but I mean, I already gave 3 sleepers in the previous video. I'm not sure if you guys seen that or not, but it's going to be popping up right here, somewhere up here, somewhere up there. And you should definitely click on it and watch it because, I mean, it's some pretty quality advice, honestly. But with my first sleeper in this video, I have Damien Harris, the running back on the Patriots. Obviously, you guys probably know Damien Harris if you are a Dynasty player, if you just pay attention to Dynasty fantasy football. He came in last year, 3rd round running back from Alabama. High hopes, high praise, yada, yada, yada. Played 1 game, 4 carries. Big letdown. Big letdown. But there is some positives on the Damien Harris train, okay? You have Sony Michel, obviously. He had a procedure on, was it his foot or was it his knee? I'm not sure. It was something like that. He just had a procedure.
I think it was knee, if I had to guess.
Well, he just had a procedure, and his injury history before that procedure isn't that beautiful. I mean, in the NFL, it's not been bad. It's been I think a sprained ankle once or twice, but in college, it was not beautiful, obviously. But with Sony Michel kind of put off to the side at the moment due to the recent procedure he had done, it opens up opportunity for
it was a foot injury. Foot surgery, yeah.
Gotcha. So moving forward with Damien Harris, I mean, the Patriots, there's been reports and whatnot that Damien Harris and Sony Michel could provide a nice 1-2 punch for the Patriots. And, I mean, I wouldn't expect Damien Harris to be a workhorse in that backfield. I don't think there's ever going to be a workhorse with Bill Belichick. But so there's a few positives with Mr. Damien Harris, the Patriots running back. Okay, you want to hear him?
I want to.
Great burst score, courtesy of playerprofiler.com. Go check that out in the link in the description. 87th percentile yards per carry in college as well, which is something notable because he played in the SEC, which is one of the best divisions or best conferences in college football. He also worked alongside Josh Jacobs in college, got a little bit more work than him, but he did not look better than him as far as numbers go. Yards created in college was not nearly as great as Josh Jacobs, which just shows his inability to, I guess, make a man miss, I guess you would say. But, I mean, you don't really see Sony Michel doing that nowadays in the NFL. Let's be real. He just gets 4 or 5 yards, he goes down. Sony Michel also doesn't really get much receiving work. Obviously, you guys know this. But in the 1 game that Damien Harris played in the preseason in 2019, okay, it was against the Tennessee Titans. He had 14 carries for 80 yards. That's pretty notable. Now it was in the preseason, so it's a big question mark. Obviously, it's preseason. Who knows if he's playing against stars, he's playing against third stringers. I mean, regardless, he had 14 carries for 80 yards. Then he had 4 catches for 23 yards, which is, it's pretty neat. You got 4 catches and a
4 catches.
Yeah, exactly. But Sony Michel, obviously, like I said, injury history. The reports are coming out that Sony Michel and him can be a nice 1-2 punch. He's expected to get a larger workload from last year, which, I mean, it's kind of easy to do that. You had 4 carries, you get 1 more carry, boom. You had more workload. But former 3rd-round pick, obviously scary because the metrics that I look at, like yards created per carry, things like that, and his college production didn't really jump off the charts, as I said, compared to Josh Jacobs, who was a 1st-round pick and lit up the NFL last year. He's not going to be one of those. His ceiling is very limited, if we're being real.
Yeah, he's on the Patriots, so
Exactly.
yeah.
So this sleeper / dart throw is really just a dart throw, hoping you get somebody at a cheap value and say, because right now he had 4 carries in his NFL rookie year. Okay, so people are probably like, "Oh, this man's trash. He's never going to do anything." And say he comes out next year, say he averages 7 fantasy points per game. You can flip that for, say, 2nd-round pick. Because say there is some promise and say they don't re-sign Sony Michel. Then it's like, oh, they don't re-sign Sony Michel. They don't pick up his option. Like, Damien Harris is there. Then he's going to be the starting running back. And then the hype starts building, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you got to buy these players that in previous years didn't really have any, I guess, involvement, I guess you could say, in the offense. Kind of like I said in the previous video with Bryce Love, obviously from injury. But you can expect these players' prices to just get a little jump, and you can make a tiny profit off of it, which, I mean, in Dynasty, if you're getting a 2nd-round pick for a player that you know their ceiling is not that high, it's completely worth it. A 2nd-round pick, you could possibly get the next D-Hop, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's all I really got to say about Damien Harris from the Patriots.
Yeah, if you can flip Damien Harris for a 2nd, even if he came out this year and was producing or involved in some way and play people in fantasy recognize, oh, Sony Michel is out of there, take advantage if you feel as if Damien Harris isn't going to produce as well in the next year. So I was looking forward to hearing your argument on Damien Harris because I've never valued Harris a lot. So it's kind of your value on Breshad Perriman is my value on Harris, only because of the backfield and how they're very particular with their backfield. You've got Rex Burkhead, you got James White, Sony Michel. Hell, Brennan Bolden's been there for I don't even know how long, and I mean, he hasn't been involved or he has been involved. I have no idea because the Patriots just love to do these weird things with their running backs. And I mean, it works. And for some of the running backs, it works in fantasy as well. So Damien Harris could be that guy. If he's used in receiving work, then, yeah, I can see him being relevant.
I agree.
All right, you got anything else for Damien?
I am all done with Mr. Harris from the Patriots, so I guess you can dive into your 2nd sleeper, huh?
All right. So I'm going to go right into Blake Jarwin. The man, he looks like a werewolf, to be honest.
A werewolf, that is fair. That's a
yeah.
good, yeah, I like that.
I mean, he could be one. He's 246 pounds, 6'5", and Dak must be scared of him because he just force feeds him the ball whenever he can. And he does very well because, I mean, catchable target rate, 92.7%. That's 3rd in the NFL. Is that for just tight ends?
Yeah, just tight ends.
Okay, I thought so. 3rd in the NFL of tight ends. So who you got up there? I don't know. Probably got
George Kittle. Mark Andrews, possibly.
Mark Andrews, Ertz, who the hell else? I mean, but this is Blake Jarwin we're talking about right now. And the man got the bags for being an undrafted free agent. He got 3 years, $24.25 million, $9.25 million guaranteed. And the man was crazy efficient with Dak Prescott. And this is definitely not I'm not praising Dak because I don't do that. But he was good with Dak. So here it is. you got Blake Jarwin, and they also lost Jason Witten. That left 83 targets on the table.
Mhm.
And that 77 snap share is now handed to none other than Blake Jarwin. And you may say, oh, well, what about that young man, Lamb? He's coming in there. I think he might take those targets. Well, you know who else left and also left 83 targets? Randall Cobb. So Randall Cobb leaves 83 targets. There's 166 targets just out there. There's just targets everywhere. And you've got two players coming in that's going to pick those targets up. And it could be CeeDee Lamb taking most of the targets, but you still got some more left. I don't think Lamb's going to get 166. But beyond that, beyond the targets.
Wait, can I say something real quick before you go onward? Okay, so the Dallas Cowboys last year only ranked 13th in team pass plays per game as well. I can expect that to ramp up, and obviously targets come with pass plays, so even more targets than just the numbers that you were just showing.
Mm-hmm. And I can very well see the Cowboys, like you said, ramping up to the point where Elliott is being involved heavily in the passing game, just as he was, 2 years ago? He was on fire and getting receptions. But just pulling up some efficiency numbers for Blake Jarwin, because I didn't even take note on these because there's so many. Yards per reception, 11.8. That's 12th amongst tight ends. You got yards per target, 8.9. 6th in the NFL with tight ends. Yards per passing route was 2.37, which is 8th. And you got that catchable target rate, 92.7. And that number's going to go down. It will. But the man and Dak had a connection that will likely turn into something that is exciting. And I think Blake Jarwin, being that, second or third year in the NFL?
I believe it's his third.
This is third year coming up. Third year in the NFL. Young tight end, played behind Jason Witten. Fantasy points per target, 2.09, 7th in the NFL. Like, all these numbers, I mean, they're all efficiency numbers, and they will go down or fluctuate. But either way you look at it, he was involved, and he showed that he can produce in some way. And this will be given some sort of reward. And I think that reward is Jason Witten leaving and him going to get more involvement.
I agree. I mean, Blake Jarwin's not a bad redraft option either, but I mean, even speaking in dynasty purposes, especially if they keep Dak around after his franchise tag season this coming year, it could prove promising as a young and up-and-coming tight end who just got an extension with Dallas and probably going to be in one of the most pass-heaviest offenses in the NFL with Mike McCarthy there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you finished talking on your man, Blake Jarwin?
Yeah. Jarwin has been spoken enough of. From here on out, Cowboys suck.
Cowboys do suck.
All of their players are just horrible.
Yeah. Like, you think Zeke's worth that money? Hell no.
No. You think Dak deserved to get that tag? Hell no.
Hey. All right, let's cut the BS though, and I will dive into my number 2 sleeper. This is actually one of my favorite sleepers at the moment. I picked him up in my dynasty leagues, all of them, and his name is Isaiah Hodgins from the Buffalo Bills. Okay, so he came out as a junior in college, which is something notable. 6th-round pick by the Bills. Obviously not great draft capital compared to Gabriel Davis, who I believe they selected in the fourth round, either 3rd or 4th round. And from Oregon State, 6'4". I know, Brandon, you love those tall receivers.
I love them.
Lanky,
just like Aaron Rodgers does.
Just like Aaron Rodgers does. And so does Josh Allen, I believe. I'm not sure, but I think he played with Andre Holmes. Remember Andre Holmes?
Yeah.
I believe he was there his rookie year, and he obviously wasn't great, but Josh Allen leaned on him. So, I mean, they kind of bring some comfort back to him with tall, lanky wide receiver and Isaiah Hodgins. And Gabriel Davis is also a big guy. And they had Kelvin Benjamin there, too. I'm not sure if Josh Allen is playing there. But, yeah. But going back to Isaiah Hodgins' playing career at college, at Oregon State, he had 29% of the team's receiving yards at 19 years old. So his freshman year, yeah. Sophomore year, I lied. His sophomore year, he had 29% of the receiving yards from Oregon State, okay? That's a pretty large chunk. As a 19-year-old, I mean, it's pretty notable. And then his junior year, as a 20-year-old, he had 39% of the team's receiving yards. 39%. That's nearly, I mean, that's obviously, it's a little bit of a reach, but it's nearly half of the team's receiving yards just in one player. Like, he led that team as a 6'4", large, big body.
20-year-old.
20-year-old, exactly. He wasn't even a senior. He wasn't a redshirt senior. He wasn't 22 like some of these people you see coming in that are like Lipscomb or I don't know who else, but like Desmond Patts, people like that. Like, he's a big body receiver, decent athlete, huge catch radius. He's a little scrawny, I guess you could say. 6'4", 210. Not the strongest, I guess, but he's long. He's good in contested catch situations. Great concentration. Better catch rate than fellow rookie Gabriel Davis, which is obviously something of note because Gabriel Davis was picked before him. So it's kind of like his hand size also is 83rd percentile, which is it's pretty obviously he has big hands. Big hands, big guy, big body. Josh Allen tossing the ball. You got big guy to big guy. Yeah. And I think that can set something up for the future with Isaiah Hodgins in Buffalo. I mean, I just like the guy. Age-wise, he's 21 years old. He's about to be 22 in the start of the year. He's pretty decent athletically, but everything else just it kind of gives me like a little like nudge, like come on man, like he's gonna do something. And I mean the reports that are coming out, I've read a report. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it was on Sleeper, but there was one of the coaches. He was praising both Gabriel Davis and Isaiah Hodgins as both big-bodied receivers and big-bodied men, which I mean, it's very weird. Okay, this is what it said.
Big-bodied men.
Offensive coordinator Brian Dabble cited Hodgins' size as an asset this week as something the team hopes to put to good use this season. They're bigger guys, size guys, both the type of men they are and really the type of player. Tough physical guys that have good ball skills, are not afraid, and provide us a little bit of size. And that's true. I mean, if you look at Buffalo's roster, you have
Cole Beasley,
Johnny Brown, and you got Stephon Diggs. None of them are really like bigger people. And even Dawson Knox, like a 6'3" tight end. It's just,
I was just about to say.
Having those receivers, those bigger bodied wide receivers for Josh Allen, who likes to chuck the ball. He's a powerful arm. He can get some jump ball situations going. And I mean, it's obviously going to benefit Isaiah Hodgins.
I respect it. I do. I can't comment too much. I specifically stayed away from rookies because I don't watch college, so I don't see the style in which these rookies play and how they play and what skill some of these show while playing. But based off of pure size, 6'4", the hand size, and also the fact that Calvin Benjamin there when Josh Allen was there?
I think I looked into it before, and I want to say he wasn't there, but I want to, just for the purpose of Isaiah Hodgins, say he was there, just because,
if we're saying he was there, I mean, that was the last time Calvin Benjamin was relevant.
Yeah.
Or somewhat relevant, and after that, he disappeared. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, he's not size, like weight-wise, he's not as heavy as I'm assuming because I don't have Kelvin Benjamin pulled up, but
not even
Kelvin Benjamin was a huge dude. Yeah. But I like it. I like Hodgins. It sounds right.
It does.
Isaiah Hodgins goes up for the 90-yard touchdown.
90 yards. Okay, I can
Yeah.
play the game in
Your
2020.
sleeper just became a stud.
Yeah, and obviously, like you said, with the rookie, you want to stay away from him. I wanted to stay away from him too, but I feel because it feels like a cop out. Like you're just like, oh, this rookie's gonna blow up, and it's like you can do that
Yeah.
with any rookie, honestly. But I just have a certain feeling about this one. Plus, I mean, it's a 6th-round draft pick. It's not like he's a 1st-round pick. Like, oh, he's a sleeper. He's going under the radar. Like this guy's actually going under the radar. Like 6th-round in the NFL draft.
Yeah.
That's like that's like 200th. Like past the 200th player in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like that's just, I don't know.
And yeah, like what you just said about the rookies, that's not exactly my reasoning for not picking the rookies, like I said, but like a player I was looking into was Len Bowden Jr., but he was a higher draft capital guy, so that one wouldn't have been quite there, but as like a sleeper because he's pretty talked about. And then another guy I also considered doing was I might butcher this, Joanne Jennings, 49ers. I believe we talked about this before, but I think Jennings has a potential of being used possibly being used in a similar fashion as Deebo Samuel while Deebo's not there. But
if he's even used at all due to this whole lack of rookie minicamp and stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I respect the bold choice in picking a 6th-round rookie.
And you got to remember, like, some of these players, like the rookie, like I just picked, and some of the players that we choose, they're probably not – I mean, especially rookies, like, they're probably not going to have much of an impact this year. But the fact that you're playing in Dynasty, that's for, like, longer periods. And if you're, like, a rebuilding team and you're looking for, like, a nice young receiver, like, cheap, that may just produce – I mean, Isaiah Hodgins isn't a bad asset to –
Yeah. Yeah, Hodgins, I'm assuming he would probably be undrafted. And like if you had a draft, like you're not a startup dynasty league, but if you're just having a 3-round draft, I'm assuming he'd rather either be undrafted or back end of like the 3rd or something.
Exactly. Pretty good value, honestly.
Yeah, you pick him up, drop a guy who you've been waiting on to break out, like Dante Pettis. Well, actually, maybe not Dante Pettis quite yet.
Wait on that one.
I hate that guy.
I mean, I'm against the guy.
I liked him. I liked him when last year. I mean, everything was just lining up, and he was like, "No, I don't want to." Oh no, it wasn't really even him. It was.
I think it's offense and Jimmy G too.
Yeah. Oh, Jimmy G, you're saying?
I mean, I think it was Jimmy G. I think it was the scheme. Plus, they brought in Emmanuel Sanders, and then Deebo blew up. I mean,
yeah,
things kind of lined up for him to not do anything. But it's definitely possible this year for him to possibly just get his name out there and get involved a little bit. Like, say when Deebo's hurt or something like that, and with a bunch of people that are question marks on the bench. But I mean, it's possible.
Being that we're talking about 49ers, why don't you jump into your 3rd?
You want me to go on my last one?
Yeah. We're talking about 49ers. Tell us why your 49er receiver is going to break out.
All right. So Jalen Hurd of the 49ers, the 49ers, San Francisco 49ers receiver Jalen Hurd, okay? So he started off his college career as a running back with Tennessee in the SEC, which is obviously a big-name college. He was a pretty decent running back. I mean, he wasn't a stud running back. He was going to be like a top 3-round pick as a running back probably. But he got selected in, I believe, the 3rd round, I want to say. Let me check just to make sure. Yeah, Jalen Hurd was selected in the 3rd round, practically the 2nd round, the 3rd pick in the 3rd round. His athletic tests weren't beautiful, but, I mean, at 6'5", 226, 93rd percentile hands among all wide receivers. The ability after the catch, obviously, like I said, he was a running back. So, I mean, it's kind of natural to him just after the catch. And a 49ers offense where they don't really chuck the ball deep all that much. Like, they're not that aggressive. They're kind of like shorter throws, get your playmakers into space and try to see them get some yak. I mean, that's pretty much what Deebo did last year. And speaking of Deebo, obviously, like we said, He's probably going to start off the season missing a game or two, at least probably. You got somebody named Kendrick Bourne that's there. Pretty efficient in the red zone last year. But besides that, not much. Not much anything else for him. I mean, yards per route run, he was third on the team in yards per route run. He's seen a target on 18.5% of his routes, which showed his involvement in the offense is pretty mediocre, as he was, again, third on the team. And that's just wide receivers. That's not even including George Kittle. Like, he's probably going to get bumped down to fourth because George Kittle, obviously amazing. But, yeah, I mean, you throw Jalen Hurd into the 49ers offense, who I think they've been waiting on since last year. I mean, he had a back fracture, which held him out all of last year, his rookie year. They don't really have a ton of competition, I guess you could say right now. I mean, with Debo obviously out for at least a week, I would say probably. Brandon Ayuk, a rookie who, like I said, rookies may not be involved all that much this year. He probably will get forced to be involved because of the fact of Debo's injury. And they lost Emmanuel Sanders in free agency. Obviously, you have Kendrick Bourne, like I said. You have Trent Taylor coming back. He's not a scrub, let's be real. But he's a slot receiver. He's not going to really affect Jalen Hurd that much, as Jalen Hurd is 6'5", 226. Now, they may use Jalen Hurd in the slot. I'm not sure because we've never even seen him play besides the preseason. I don't have those preseason slot percentage numbers, so can't really give you anything there. But as a little bench stash, I mean, in the 49ers offense, which obviously we know is run heavy, he's probably – I'd put him behind right now on the team as far as receivers, probably third. Honestly, realistically, it's nothing great, but say he breaks out. There's a chance he breaks out at the third pick. Former running back, Yak Monster possibly, with the 49ers. And Kyle Shanahan obviously liked him enough to take him in the third round.
And Shanahan, he's obviously willing to get players involved in jet sweeps and whatnot. So, I mean, Debo was involved in that towards the end of last year, and who knows, maybe if Debo comes back and he's doing some things, and him and Debo might run crazy.
Jalen Hurd may just be a cheat code at 6'5", former running back, 226 pounds. I mean, that's just like – he's not like any of the other receivers that the 49ers have on their roster. With that, I mean, the size and ability after the catch, just right there, that's it right there. Like that
separates them from the others. And that was when you told me Hurd was your last sleeper. That's when I was thinking, well, there's just so many receivers at that like same level in some way. So like Hurd and Taylor, and they're all valued close to each other. So that's why I was kind of skeptical. But you proved your case. He separates himself with his size. He's been a running back. I mean, those are key things that, I mean, Debo, he was involved in running in college, wasn't he? So
yeah.
I mean, Hurd, I don't mind that.
Got to hold on to the chance. I mean, I got him in, I believe, in both my Dynasty leagues. It may be just one, but probably one of my favorite bench picks for Dynasty and trade targets, honestly, just because, like I said, yak, size, offense, lack of depth on the team. Plenty of things for him to break out.
All right, and just to real quick point out, the Liz Frank injury that Debo had, the re-injury of that is, I believe, 1 in every 5, I think is the number. It's a very low number. 1 in every 5 will re-injure and will need another surgery. And Debo Samuel has fought through injury for most of his college years and also coming into the draft, I believe. So, like, I mean, there's reasons to worry for Debo. And I think Jalen Hurd brings to the table similar skills that Debo has, or at least experiences as being a running back, and same was Debo. So that even broadens that potential in some ways.
I think Ayuk can probably compare more to Deebo Samuel than Jalen Hurd.
Yeah,
Like I said, Jalen Hurd's size and whatnot. But I mean, like I said, Jalen Hurd. There's only one thing that sticks out among among all those wide receivers, and it's Jalen Hurd's size, and nobody else on that team. As far as wide receivers, obviously we know George Kittle's a monster, but as far as wide receivers, Jalen Hurd's the biggest one there, and he's still athletic, which is it's a good sign.
Yeah.
Speaking of big wide receivers and athletic wide receivers, you want to go with your last sleeper here, Big Hair?
My last sleeper is Auden Tate. So I remember bringing this up on a later episode or an earlier episode. Really fell in love with Auden Tate last season. He kind of came into form. I believe it was only a second year in the NFL. He was undrafted, doesn't really have much metrics to his size is pretty much what he got. Physical abilities, I mean, nothing sticks out to me. But then you take a look at contested catch rate, and that's up at 39.3%, which is 20th in the NFL. So that's halfway decent for a guy who's being tossed the ball from Ryan Finley, I believe, last year. So, and then you also have Auden Tate. His snap share last year was 84.7%, and his team pass plays per game was 41.5. So he was being involved on an offense that was plagued with injuries, and I would think it's naive to say for certain otherwise. So you got John Ross, who has been injured ever since he stepped foot in the NFL. You've got AJ Green, who's just fending off injuries left and right, who is a monster and a great wide receiver, but is also headed to the end of his career. At least it looks that way. And I think T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Auden Tate are basically the last three healthy guys left standing by the end of this year. And that's even to say AJ Green hasn't even traded.
Or holds out,
Yeah, and then you've also got, even if John Ross stays this year, he's on his last year of his contract. So you've got Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins, a unproven rookie who I like, but is also unproven. He's never played an NFL game, so you can't say for sure he's going to be a breakout or a stud.
I'm a huge fan of T. Higgins, so I'll keep my words to myself, I guess. That one.
No, but there's not a lot of stats to back this up as for the other guys. This is just one of those things where you just kind of have a feeling sometimes. And sometimes the feeling's wrong and other times it's right on and you feel great after.
Waller. Yeah, just like that.
Yeah.
I'm
you
sure
brought Waller up.
I'm sure you've seen numbers and whatnot, but like you've seen numbers that probably like push your agenda, I guess, or like your like for that player, but you probably just don't remember them off the top of your hand. I'm sure other people of Auden Tate, they'll be able to find some things that are pretty attractive, I guess.
Yeah.
Attractive as far as numbers and whatnot. But yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, John Ross. John Ross he has terrible hands. So honestly, probably don't see him in Cincinnati after this year if he even stays this year. I mean, that would be interesting if they traded him, honestly, because then they just have a bunch of big-bodied wide receivers. And, I mean, you got Tyler Boyd in the slot. Having Auden Tate and T. Higgins outside, like, say, after A.J. Green leaves or gets traded or whatnot, not a bad idea, but I feel like they need another playmaker in those wide receivers. And I feel like Auden Tate's the odd man out because I don't think they would have drafted T. Higgins had they believed in Auden Tate as much as, like, to be the next AJ Green per se or something like that. I feel like T. Higgins is going to he's athletic. He's a great wide receiver. He played for Clemson. They lean on him a lot last year. And I mean, second round pick, I like him a lot. I probably shouldn't have even brought T. Higgins up, honestly. But Auden Tate's not a bad get, so go get the man.
And also, I think this year is going to be Auden Tate's make or break year. Because if he doesn't produce and John Ross were to leave and he don't produce this year, they're going to feel inclined to pick up another guy, just like you said.
Plus,
pick up another playmaker.
So it's not like a big investment the team has in him. I mean, he's a seventh-round pick. It's chump change at this point. I mean, he was pretty good at times last year. Not this past year, but the year before that. And, I mean, I don't know. I mean, big question mark, especially with all the wide receivers they have there. And the fact that they are rebuilding, I mean, it wouldn't look too bad to keep him around. But as a starter, I would probably bet against it if I was a betting man.
We're all allowed to have our opinions.
Exactly, and that's why
some opinions just are wrong, Ed.
Wrong. I respect it. He's trying to come at me, but we all know that I would probably survive the longest in a zombie apocalypse. Let's be real.
Hey, jumping right into this question.
So let's get it.
I do declare.
Question time.
We don't have Alex here to tell us to calm down.
Yeah, so let's just act bonkers. Let's jump off the wall and stuff. You ever listen to Designer talk? Do you know Designer?
Yeah.
Like,
I never heard him talk. I gotta hear him.
Oh my goodness. If you just watch like a freestyle video of his, I seen it on Funk Flex. Like he was talking behind Funk Flex. I'm not sure if you know what that is, but he was just speaking nonsense. Like pure like, yeah, you know me. What the hell is
he a
wrong?
rattlesnake?
Yeah, sounds as if. Some of the songs too, like I don't know if you heard the song like Timmy Turner.
Oh yeah, that song, I've heard that.
He just makes noises and it's so funny, but like there's gotta be something. There's something.
Then you just start, you're like, haha, and then you're like, all right. And then you start vibing to it for some reason.
Yeah. Anyway, I apologize for the dismiss.
Back to the serious question here.
Let's get it popping.
All right, right here. How long would you last in a zombie apocalypse?
I would last long enough to find a cure. That's what I mean. I love The Walking Dead. I'm sure you've like we talked about before, action TV shows and whatnot. Obviously, I don't have experience with killing people or killing zombies for that matter, but I don't know. I just believe in myself. The only thing that may hold me back is like my girlfriend. Girlfriend is rather short. She may not be like into it emotionally, and like females and whatnot, they kind of just
might have to cut ties.
Sometimes, yeah. So like, definitely have to cut ties, probably.
Well,
if she gets bit, I might just keep her like around, just to keep the other zombies away, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like Michonne.
Let's be real. I thought you said you didn't like The Walking Dead. You never watched The Walking Dead.
Oh, I did. That's Alex. Alex don't watch TV shows here.
You're right. All right. What kind of zombies are we talking here, though? I should probably.
I was just about to say, if
you ever watched that movie, those zombies like run at you, like there's.
If they're World War Z zombies, I'm killing myself.
I'm jumping off. Yeah.
There's no way I'm even gonna attempt to try at that, because that's if I saw that. If I'm like, all right, I wake up one day, I get alerts. Oh, zombie apocalypse. I look out the window. I'm like, well, who knows? Maybe this is okay. I'm like, I walk outside, I look over, and there's just this fucking zombie running at me. I'm just running back inside and just starving myself to death. I don't know.
I mean, they'll probably get inside. I would probably, I don't even know. How would you, I'm not even going to talk about it. Never mind. I was about to say, how would you do that to yourself? Like, okay, never mind. But anyway, cut that out real quick. But for real though, I probably wouldn't last that long with World War Z zombies. But talking like slow zombies that literally just creep, it's like this type thing. I would be able to manage, I believe, because I mean, I don't know. I just believe in myself, and I'm pretty not smart. I don't know what I was gonna say there, but I'm not good with like, I don't know. It would be hard too with like actual human beings and whatnot, like having to trust them because like the world's over. They're not.
Yeah.
there's no law and order. Like, you're done.
Nope.
You have to try to trust people, like back in the good old days, or I shouldn't call them the good old days, but back in the 1700s when there was no law really in the United States, and it was just like, should I trust this person? Like, what's gonna happen over here? Am I gonna die? Like,
Yeah, you have no idea if your next door neighbor is just gonna turn into a cannibal.
you're gonna go over for dinner time on Sunday nights, and they just start eating you. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
plan on this.
yeah. I mean, in The Walking Dead, eventually it turns into fearing people more than the zombies.
Exactly.
So, but when it comes to strictly zombies, if there was Walking Dead zombies, they're walking. I want to say I can last a good bit of time,
Yeah.
but I mean, you never know. I mean, I think I'm agile enough and I've got decent balance. I'm pretty fast, and I can take off in a like from 0 to my sprint pretty fast.
Yeah.
So like I feel like I can escape well. It's the fact of being able to bring myself to battle them.
Yeah, true.
And I think if I were to battle like 1 or 2 and just get that experience under my belt, then I could be like confident going into the next situation. It's that first encounter is what breaks it. I could either die right then or there or survive and live on
forever
until I go to my neighbor's house.
And then they eat you for dinner. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got anything else to say about these running backs, the fantasy football zombies, or any sleepers? Anything?
I wanted to bring up one honorable mention. When I was considering Blake Jarwin, I also had thought about Dawson Knox for one of my sleepers. And then I noticed he had 90% catchable targets on 45 targets, and that was 5th in the NFL, and there's going to be a negative regression to that. But at the same time, he had a 12% drop rate, and that's first in the NFL amongst all tight ends. He had 6, I believe.
What was his contested catch rate among tight ends in the NFL?
His contested catch rate, all it says is 50%.
On how many targets?
10.
So he wasn't really targeted that much. I mean, 50% isn't bad. But I mean, with the contested catch rate being not bad and then you having a high drop rate, it's probably not the best. But I mean,
and then the catchable target rate, that's what. When I saw catchable target rate, I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Like, I mean, that'll go down, but then I saw the drops, and I was like, "Ooh, 6 on." I mean, 45. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, his true catch rate was also 39th among all tight ends, which is, again, not great. And it only differs from his actual catch rate by 6%. So it goes to show it probably not the best hands among the tight ends in the NFL.
Yeah. Granted, it was his first year, and, I mean, tight ends don't even get used as much as he did. And guess what? This is kind of ironic. His best comparable athlete is Blake Jarwin.
This is, yeah.
So, wow. All right.
Good thing you went with Jarwin, though, because I would probably choose Jarwin over Knox.
Yeah, same here.
All right. Well, since we are finished the sleepers and the question of the day, do you have anything to say to the audience, to the fans, to the family, I guess?
Share your experience here.
Yeah.
Give it to your mom, your dad, your friends, your brothers, your work colleagues, your boss. Share everywhere. And we will almost give you nothing in return other than what we already are. Quality
content we're giving you. This is A1 stuff, honestly. Let's be real. I mean, I think I put enough research into my stuff. I'm sure you guys do too. You guys have good feelings. You guys called Darren Waller last year. You called Darren Waller. I was called Mark Andrews. I called Terry McLaurin. We each had one breakout. when we make a breakout video for this year, we may just have the key people for this year. I mean, we got doing into that video. So just like, comment, share, subscribe, and leave your comment downstairs. Leave your comment down in the comment section about, I guess, how long you would survive in a zombie apocalypse, as well as, I guess, just comments about players that we included and trade offers, or like, what do you think you should trade for them? Like, price value, I guess, price gauge these players. And yeah, that's all I got to say.
Feedback also. We like to hear feedback.
Yeah, we definitely need some feedback, because I mean, people are just ignoring us at this point. At this point, I don't think anybody's watching the video, but hey, if you are, we appreciate you. This First Choice Fantasy signing out. Deuce.
Here we go. Later on.